and welcome to Family Read Aloud. My name is Heather, and I'm the Youth Services Librarian at Pennsauken Free Public Library. We are coming to the tail end of April, which means we're going to have one more story time all about poetry, since April is National Poetry Month. And tonight we are going to read a few nursery rhymes, but they're not necessarily the nursery rhymes you might remember from when you were a little kid. So, I hope you enjoy. The first book we are going to read is a version of The Spider and the Fly, which was originally published in 1829 by Mary Howitt, and Tony DeLaRizza did a very beautiful all black and white version of this, which was actually considered one of the best picture books in the year it came out. And this edition was published by Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers. The Spider and the Fly, based on the poem by Mary Howitt with illustrations by Tony DeLaRizza. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "'Tis the prettiest little parlor that you ever did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show you when you are there." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can ne'er come down again." "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There's our pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest awhile, I'll snugly tuck you in." "Oh, no, no, no," said the little fly, "for I've often heard it said, they never, never wake up again, those who sleep upon your bed." Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking-glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'd step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself." "I thank you, gentle sir," she said, "for what you're pleased to say, and bidding me good morning now, I'll call another day." The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again, and merrily did sing, "Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead." Ah, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wily flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and purple-green hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing, at last up jumped the cunning spider, and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair, into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words I pray you ne'er give heed. Unto an evil counselor close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. R.I.P. Now there's also a little note here from the spider that I'm going to read. "Dear sweet creatures, no doubt you finished our delicious tale and are surprised by this little tragedy. But then again, what did you expect from a story about a spider and a fly? Happily ever after? Spiders are trappers, for goodness sake. We've been doing it for generations, and we're quite good at it. Even your beloved Charlotte and E.B. White's classic, Charlotte's Web, admitted as much. But alas, the poor dear never capitalized on her fortune. Now if I were in her shoes, I would be eating bacon. Within the wealth of knowledge about spiders and our crafty carnivorous ways, you'd think my web would be empty, but not a day passes without a hapless bug or two stopping by. What's a spider to do? To be completely fair, my most recent dinner guest put up a commendable fight, but I am a talented and persistent hunter with many schemes up my sleeves. As you can see, I always get my bug. So what does all this talk of spiders and traps have to do with you, dear reader? Be warned, little dears, and know that spiders are not the only hunters and bugs are not the only victims. Take what has transpired within these pages to heart, or you might well find yourself trapped in some schemer's web. Bon appetit, the spider. Okay, the next book we are going to read is a trio of poems by Eugene Field, starting with Winkin Blinkin and Not, and these were illustrated by Bob Patillo. Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod. Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod one night sailed off in a wooden shoe, sailed on a river of crystal light into a sea of dew. Where are you going, and what do you wish? The old moon asked the three. We have come to fish for the herring fish that live in this beautiful sea. Nets of silver and gold have we, said Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod. The old moon laughed and sang a song as they rocked in the wooden shoe, and the wind that sped them all night long ruffled the waves of dew. The little stars were the herring fish that lived in that beautiful sea. Now cast your nets wherever you wish, never afeard are we. So cried the stars to the fishermen three, Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod. And there they are, fishing in the sky. All night long their nets they threw to the stars in the twinkling foam. Then down from the skies came the wooden shoe, bringing the fishermen home. 'Twas all so pretty a sail it seemed, as if it could not be. And some folk thought 'twas a dream they dreamed of sailing that beautiful sea. But I shall name you the fishermen three, Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod. Winkin and Blinkin are two little eyes, and Nod is a little head, and the wooden shoe that sailed the skies is a wee one's trundle bed. So shut your eyes while mother sings of wonderful sights that be, and you shall see the beautiful things as you rock in the misty sea, where the old shoe rocked the fishermen three, Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod. The Gingham Dog and the Calico Cat, which is also sometimes referred to as the Duel. The gingham dog and the calico cat side by side on the table sat. 'Twas 12:30, and what do you think? Nor one nor the other had slept a wink. The old Dutch clock and the Chinese plate appeared to know as sure as fate there was going to be a terrible spat. I wasn't there, I simply state what was told to me by the Chinese plate. The gingham dog went bow wow wow, and the calico cat replied meow. The air was littered an hour or so with bits of gingham and calico, while the old Dutch clock in the chimney place up with its hands before its face, for it always dreaded a family row. Never mind, I'm only telling you what the old Dutch clock declares is true. The Chinese plate looked very blue and wailed, "Oh dear, what shall we do?" But the gingham dog and the calico cat wallowed this way and tumbled that, employing every tooth and claw in the awfullest way you ever saw. And oh, how the gingham and calico flew! Don't fancy I exaggerate. I got my news from the Chinese plate. And there they are fighting. Next morning, where the two had sat, they found no trace of dog or cat. And some folks think unto this day that burglars stole that pair away. But the truth about the cat and pup is this: they ate each other up. Now what do you really think of that? The old Dutch clock, it told me so, and that is how I came to know. And the last one in this collection is the sugar plum tree. Have you ever heard of the sugar plum tree? 'Tis a marvel of great renown. It blooms on the shores of the Lollipop Sea in the garden of Shut-Eye Town. The fruit that it bears is so wondrously sweet, as those who have tasted it say, that good little children have only to eat of that fruit and be happy all day. When you've got to the tree, you would have a hard time to capture the fruit which I sing. The tree is so tall that no person could climb to the boughs where the sugar plums swing. But up in that tree sits a chocolate cat, and a gingerbread dog prowls below, and this is the way you contrive to get at those sugar plums tempting you so. You say but the word to that gingerbread dog, and he barks with such terrible zest, that the chocolate cat is at all once agog, as her swelling proportions attest, and the chocolate cat goes cavorting around from this leafy limb unto that, and the sugar plums tumble, of course, to the ground. Hurrah for that chocolate cat. Look at that lollipop, see? There are marshmallows, gumdrops, and peppermint canes, with strippings of scarlet or gold, and you carry away of the treasure that reigns as much as your apron can hold. So come, little child, come closer to me in your dainty white nightcap and gown, and I'll rock you away to that sugar plum tree in the garden of Shut-Eye Town. And that is the end of that one. All right, the next one we are going to read is called Other Goose. You probably have heard of Mother Goose, but as it turns out, Mother Goose is not actually a goose. So this goose, called Other Goose, wrote a book too of nursery rhymes. J. Otto Siebold presents Other Goose, re-nurseryed and re-rhymed children's classics. And there's a lot in this collection. An introduction from Other Goose. Let it be said that it is difficult for me to gather my thoughts in any other form than rhyme, but as this volume of altered classics may be shelved among Mother Goose books, a few words of explanation may be in order. First, let me tell you a little secret about Mother Goose. She's not a goose. She is actually a person, and while I certainly compliment her rhymes, some of them have grown quite dusty over time. I mean, what good is a pocket full of rye anymore, I ask you? That is why I am here. I am actually a goose, and I actually know how to rhyme too. I have taken Mother Goose's rhymes and, let us say, re-nurseryed them. I have made them more modern, more fresh, and, well, more goosian. I have also found an illustrator named J. Otto Siebold, who is not a goose, to create pictures for my rhymes. I find a rhyme is rather lonely without a picture. Rhymes are important, you see. Before there were books, important thoughts were passed down by way of rhyme. Why rhymes? Because they get stuck in your head. That's just how rhymes are, especially goosian rhymes. They are extremely memorable words. So without further ado, I present my collection, recorded as I remember them best, the Other Goose Book of Nursery Rhymes by Other Goose. Of eggs and accidents. Fried, tried, and justified. Part 1. Humpty Dumpty wasn't that tall. Humpty Dumpty went to the mall. He searched all the shelves again and again until Humpty found a true bargain. Do you remember Humpty going to the mall? I don't. Part 2. Humpty Dumpty went for a stroll. Humpty Dumpty stepped in a hole. His shoe got stuck. He was in a bind. So Humpty had to leave that shoe behind. Part 3. Humpty Dumpty had a big shoe. Humpty Dumpty used to have two. He clopped in a circle again and again, but his shoes would never be together again. Epilogue. 3 days later. All the park squirrels and all the store's mice turned Humpty's shoe into something not nice. Of Jack's, Jill's, and Peter Pumpkin Pickle Peppers. Jack and Jill and Bill. Jack and Jill and a pickle named Bill strolled atop a mountain. Jack bent down to pick some dill, and the pickle jumped into the fountain. Jack be nimble. Jack be nimble, the name did stick, over the candle, over the wick. Jack would be famous for this trick. And there he is. The Splats. Jack Splat paints abstract, his wife paints country scenes. Together they fill the canvas up and live the life serene. Peter Pumpkin Pickle Pepper. Peter Pumpkin Pickle Pepper played the pipe, no clarinetter. Played in storms, any weather. Played because it made him better. Simple Simon. Simple Simon was good at rhyming, and not a whole lot else. He went to the fair, for that is where he went to fetch his pie. But up in his head, his thoughts instead began to churn and fly. So just as before, he came back to his door, forgetting what it was he went for. And that That's Jack Horner over in the corner. He doesn't get a poem. Of lost sheep and little lambs. Little boy blue, come blow your tuba. Little boy blue, come blow your tuba. The sheep are in Venice and the cows in Aruba. But where is that boy in charge of them all? He's chasing chickens in Nepal. Time to worry? Not at all. Here's his number. Give him a call. Little asleep, Bo Peep. Little Bo Peep did fail to keep her little lambs beside her. She went to sleep while counting sheep, and the lambs went far and wider. Some climbed trees, some chased bees, and one even flew on a glider. Back they crept while little Bo slept, and hatched a plan to hide there. When she woke, no lamb spoke. In fact, they all got quieter. She searched and called and almost bawled. Then they all jumped out and surprised her. Mary had a little band. Mary had a singing lamb whose voice was widely known. Everywhere the lamb would sing, he never sang alone. Mary played a guitar jam with her little lamb, and so they played throughout the years and all throughout the land. Blah, blah, black sheep. Ba, ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Let me see, he says after a lull. This is for the master, this is for the dame, and this is for someone who lives down the lane, so no. Of old mothers, old geese, and old moles. Old Mother Hubbard. Old Mother Hubbard thought she had it covered, and her dog had thought that too. Then she went to the cupboard, where she discovered no bones, no food. Boo-hoo. There was an old woman who lived in a sneaker. A sneaker? There was an old woman who lived in a sneaker. She had a great big stereo speaker. She played it so loud, her hearing grew weaker. Tell me, could this story get any bleaker? Old King Cole. Old King Cole was a dreary old mole, and that was all he could be. He called on the phone, for he was alone. Come, fiddlers, play music for me. The fiddlers did fiddle, and fiddled for a fee. 3 songs for $3.93. Old Mother Goose. Old Mother Goose, who wasn't a goose, jumped up on a gander, but after a while the gander thought it might be best to land her. Of spiders, mice, and more than 20 blackbirds. Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet held an insect buffet, featuring curds and whey. Along came a spider with a jug of cherry cider, who said, I think I'll join you today. Hickory dickory clock. Hickory dickory clock. The mice ran up in a flock. The clock struck 1, the rest had fun. Hickory dickory clock. Don't sing a song of sixpence. Why sing a song of sixpence? That money doesn't even make sense. And who puts blackbirds in a pie? I really have to wonder why. 4 and 20 blackbirds too, that's more than just a few. I'd say it's quite a large amount, but it's up to you to count. And is a pocket a good place to keep rye? I'd ask the king, but he's been poked in his royal eye. Ouch. Hey diddle fiddle. Hey diddle fiddle, there's a cat and a fiddle, the concert's inside at noon. At a part in the middle, the cat cried a little, and the plate left early with the spoon. The little doggy clapped, and the toothpaste stayed capped, and the cow cheered along with the moon. Of stormy weather and sinking tubs. Rain, rain, don't go away. Rain, rain, don't go away. The sun can shine some other day. Rub-a-dub-dub. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 guys in a tub sailing to who knows where. Blub-a-blub-blub, there's a hole in the tub, causing quite a scare. Glub-a-glub-glub, 3 birds in a sub. The tub they did repair. It's raining, it's boring. It's raining, it's boring. The snoring creaks the flooring. With that said, go to bed. I will see you in the morning. And this is the grand finale. 1, 2, lost my shoe. 3, 4, jump some more. 5, 6, pickle tricks. 7, 8, calculate. 9, 10, say that again? I didn't quite catch that. 11, 12, empty shelves.
1314, grunting, snoring. 1516, spider greeting. 1718, sheep locating. 1920, birds aplenty.
And now they're all asleep. And that is the end. So that is all we have time for tonight. I hope you enjoyed some of those silly nurse rhymes, and I hope you join me next week for Family Read Aloud. Have a good night.